In May 2021, terror struck St. Johns County, Florida, when Tristyn Bailey, a vibrant 13-year-old cheerleader, was suddenly and deliberately attacked by her 14-year-old schoolmate, Aiden Fucci. This case, characterized by its brutality and lack of apparent motive, has since become one of the most shocking and discussed juvenile crimes in recent history. Discover what horrible secrets were being hidden by this troubled little boy. Tristyn Bailey was born on January 18th, 2008, in Singapore to Forrest and Stacy Bailey, the youngest of 5 children. Tristyn was known for her energetic spirit, kindness, and dedication to her friends and family. Her early years in Singapore and later in St. Johns County were marked by her participation in various activities, particularly cheerleading, where she stood out for her enthusiasm and talent. Her family and friends described her as a beacon of positivity, always ready to stand up for those she cared about. Aiden Fucci, on the other hand, had a more troubled background. Born on November 17, 2006, he was born into what can only be described as an abusive household. His friends and girlfriend at the time recalled him always being called a disappointment to the family. Compared to his half-brother, whom his mother described as a up, he also lamented that on occasion, his father would strike him for seemingly no good reason. Overall, this created an environment where both Fucci and his family were always in a bad mood and always on edge, contrasted with Tristyn's family and life, where she was frequently celebrated, encouraged, and loved. As a result, Fucci displayed behavioral issues from a very young age up to this very day. These included aggressive behavior, getting into fights with mere strangers, coming up from behind his girlfriend and colleagues, pretending to kill them, obsessively and openly handling a knife in public settings, multiple reports of disciplinary action at school, such as swearing at teachers, and often discomforting peers, with his talk of wanting to slit someone's throat. To top all these other concerning behaviors off, he was noted as having a fixation with violent, gory media, and frequent drawings of mutilated bodies in his notebook. Overall, it was clear to anyone listening that Aiden's behavior and home life were interconnected, and his aggressiveness was merely an outlet to escape the greatest hell on earth in a teenager's modern setting. An apathetic, uncaring household that would sooner see him dead than loved. Despite these countless warning signs, the pressure on Fucci's mind came to a breaking point, and his actions on the night of May 8, 2021, and the early morning of May 9th took everyone by surprise due to their extreme brutality. On that evening of May 8th, Tristyn Bailey was reported missing by her family after failing to return home. That night, Aiden Fucci had contacted Tristyn, convincing her to meet up under the guise of visiting a mutual friend. Surveillance footage later revealed the two walking together in their neighborhood around 1:45 a.m. How such an escape into the wee morning hours was allowed is unknown. However, just under 2 hours later, the same camera captured Fucci running alone, carrying his shoes. When Tristyn didn't return home later that day, the search quickly began, and then later intensified as the time rolled around to the morning and midday of May 9th. Family, friends, peers, elders, and law enforcement would search high and low, near and far, for Tristyn, fearing the worst may have happened to her. Later, on that evening, the grim discovery was made. Around 6 p.m., a local resident found Tristyn's body in a wooded area near a retention pond. The scene was gruesome. Tristyn had been stabbed 140 times, with 49 defensive wounds indicating a desperate struggle for her life. Her ankles bore strange markings, with the word karma written on one and a smiley face on the other. Near her body, investigators found a buck knife with a broken tip, which matched a fragment lodged in Tristyn's scalp. DNA evidence on Tristyn's body, clothes, hair, and a broken-off piece of the blade of a buck knife ultimately linked Fucci to the crime, with little question of who had been involved. Despite his lanky figure and clear inexperience in violent matters, Tristyn's life was ultimately taken. A young girl of her size had little chance of putting up a fight against the larger, far more fierce Aiden Fucci. The discovery of Tristyn's body led to an immediate investigation. Deputies Robert Maloney and Liam Stack interviewed Fucci and his friends, piecing together the events leading up to the murder. Fucci initially denied any involvement, claiming he had parted ways with Tristyn after a brief walk. However, inconsistencies in his story and the mounting evidence against him quickly unraveled his narrative. A search of Fucci's home revealed more damning evidence. Blood-stained clothing was found in his room, and a sheath matching the knife found at the crime scene was discovered. Fucci's mother, Crystal Smith, was later charged with tampering with evidence after she was seen on surveillance footage, washing blood from her son's jeans. During his interrogation, Fucci displayed a chilling lack of remorse. He even posted a Snapchat photo from the back of a police car, captioned, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?" This disturbing behavior further solidified the prosecution's case against him. Fucci was initially charged with second-degree murder, but the charges were soon upgraded to first-degree murder due to the premeditated nature of the crime. During the trial, it was revealed that Fucci had spoken to friends about his desire to kill someone and had planned the attack on Tristyn. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence of Fucci's culpability, including his DNA at the crime scene, his possession of the murder weapon, and his incriminating social media posts. In February 2023, just before his trial was set to begin, Fucci changed his plea from not guilty to guilty. During the sentencing hearing, Judge R. Lee Smith described the case as the most difficult and shocking he had ever presided over. He emphasized that the crime had no motive other than Fucci's desire to experience what it felt like to kill someone. Fucci was sentenced to life in prison, with a review of his case scheduled after 25 years. Psychologists and criminologists often explore a range of factors, including the individual's psychological state, social environment, and personal history. In Fucci's case, several red flags were evident: his fascination with violence, his troubling behavior, and his detachment from reality. Fucci's behavior suggests a potential mix of psychopathy and sociopathy. His lack of empathy, planning, and execution of the crime align with characteristics seen in individuals with severe personality disorders. However, diagnosing such conditions in a minor is often challenging and is still contended to this day. What isn't unclear, however, is that Aiden, in addition to behavior and abusive home life, was known for his marijuana addiction and frequently recounted how he heard voices to do horrible things to others. If not, he was a disappointment and a failure. Whenever he became angry, Aiden's girlfriend reported, he would say that it was that time when the voices became the most intense and forceful. It was clear to everyone prior to the murder that Fucci had mental health issues, and like the many other red flags, no one had acted in his best interest enough or in time. Ultimately, regardless of the clear lack of motive, grand scheme of corroborating background evidence, extensive abuse and mental health issues, or misguided mother attempting to lessen his consequences, the blame rests solely upon Aiden Fucci himself. Perhaps in the end, that is the greatest tragedy of this particular case, that a 14-year-old boy who claimed to elders and peers that he heard voices in his head regularly carried a knife with him and would go on tangent after tangent about wanting to know what it would be like to take another human life, seemingly with no remorse or emotional attachment, was allowed to slip so far down a path not meant for children. While the community and respective families mourn the loss of Tristyn Bailey, Aiden's life has also forever been taken, as he remains in prison to this day on a plea deal for the remainder of his life. As a result, he will have grown up only knowing the inside of a prison, with only a brief 14 years as a free but intensely troubled child. It is with hope that further advancements in technology and policy will enable the proper authorities to catch others like Aiden before they strike and prevent any further damage to more families around the nation. If you thought this story was chilling, brace yourself for our next tale that will take you into the dark world of betrayal and violence, leaving you questioning the depths of human nature.